Hello everyone, welcome back to the Vastora Chronicles. I didn't like my enunciation on that. I'm going to try again. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Vastora Chronicles. Or, if this is your first time watching one of our interviews, then I guess just welcome for the first time. Today we are going to be interviewing Electro and Hedgedrew, who were the leaders of the Corvan Union and Vastoran Empire, and Meraki. Sorry, bad pronunciation was stuck in my head for a little too long. Meraki, that is the correct way to pronounce it, everyone, by the way. Which is the capital of the Corvan Union and Vastoran Empire. So, I suppose just to begin, maybe tell us a little bit about sort of how, because I know you guys merged very early on, like back in the first session, so maybe you could both tell me a little bit about how both of your groups kind of started and how you wound up in charge, and just a little, like, a very brief, and I mean brief, overview of roughly what your nations were.
You want to go first, Hedge?
Sure, yeah. So, on day one, it's sort of, I did not really mean to be a leader, right? I think people have been asking, what are my plans? I never planned to be a leader. I really just wanted people to progress, right, in the civilization.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be so that I needed to organize people together to get people moving. I felt like, time was very, very limited, especially on day one.
Yeah.
People go off to their fringe groups, so I decided to just get as many people as I possibly could, sort of get something, get the ball rolling, I guess.
Yeah.
So I met up. My first person I met with was a person named Moxty.
Mm-hmm.
And this person is actually the one who gave the name Meraki.
Yeah.
I forget what it means. It's like a Japanese word or something.
Interesting.
But Meraki was also known as like the Moxty Mafia. You may have heard that name around.
Yeah. No, I know. I already know some of that lore.
Yeah. So we sort of found our place in a nice spruce mountainy area, and it just happened to be so that Electro's group with Corvan was migrating towards a similar area as well, like right in our backyard, which was very surprising. Yeah, so Electro, you can probably talk about how you ended up there.
Yeah, so the funny thing is us getting there was a bit less of an accident than it was shown off to be. So from the get-go, I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to build an empire. That was my whole stick. I really liked the idea of doing that, and it was more of just a matter of how.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, like Hedge, I wanted to go out and gather as many people as possible because, as he said, people will start gathering and forming little cliques and groups, and it'd be much harder to get involved in that in the same way. So I spent a lot of time in session 1, session 2, but mainly session 1 doing diplomacy, trying to, get people to join our cause in our little kingdom of Corvan. We had about 20 or so people. The first person I had met was Unknown Duke, and the first thing I did was ask him if he wanted to help me get some wood, help me get some dirt, because I wanted to build a little walled structure for the first night. So if people were running around from the mobs and such, they could come and join us.
Yeah.
And then I spoke with someone named Temporian Silver, who was already somewhat of an explorer, and he had mentioned that there was a spot that had 2 or 3 biomes connecting to it, because we were on the shoreline where we couldn't really grow anything. And my objective throughout most of the game was to try and get as many crops for the cornucopia. So I'm like, of course, let's go move over there. So we go do a little bit of searching first, because I didn't want to just move everyone over, and we find a spot, lo and behold, in the low mountain range by the spruce, right after meeting the Moshki Mafia or Meraki Mafia. And then we come back, we set up a little walled area, and then the next day we move everyone over, and then that's when I meet good old Hedge for the first time, and we have the first interesting negotiation of my gameplay. I don't know how much other stuff happened after that, but that was certainly the first one for me.
Yeah, I mean, Hedge, I'm kind of curious, like, how you reacted to, like, oh, here's these people moving in right next door. And I'm kind of curious, how did the topic of sort of merging or uniting come up? Or did it never exactly, like, happen officially?
Okay, so I think my answer or my view on like leading a group might be a little bit different than a lot of people think. I'm not really well. I was from the very beginning. I was not aiming to have my own like established group, kind of like what Electro was trying to do. Of course, my main goal is, of course, to get the people around me as progressed as possible,
Yeah.
and myself as progressed as possible. Right, get some gear, get some food. So, I mean, I knew from the start that some kind of merger or organization, union of sorts, was necessary for sure. So when Electro, happened to be there, and we met up, it seemed like a pretty clear choice to me. It wasn't even really a compromise to me. Like it wasn't really a big thought. To merge our people together so that we can achieve one goal, right?
Yeah.
To me, it felt so much more complicated because I knew some people going into it from the walls. Like I knew about like Artharis from a different event, Civ Labs, and I met Phantom during events prior. So I came in and I was just going to assume like that everyone who was in like a position of leadership or whatever wanted to stay that way. So I kind of was hoping to try to get a merger when we saw like, oh yeah, the spot we want to be in is right next to the Meraki Mafia. I'm like, okay, cool, we're gonna go there because it's gonna make diplomacy super easy. And then it became easier than I thought originally because I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Hedge, but I remember when you came in, you wanted to do a merge because we didn't know what Qicha and Oxide and Flower Legion actually were like.
Yeah.
And I remember I heard bad things or like at least suspicious things. I remember I think you had told me that like they could be potentially dangerous or something like that. So it was good to like unify.
Yeah, that was thanks to me because Joseph exists.
Joseph.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how much the rest of the group were going to be on board with John Evil's ideas, so I while I was going around, like, just in case, I'm like, look, just to letting people know, like, hey, just right now I'm part of Flower Legion, but me and my friends might not remain there, and if they start doing bad stuff, just know that's not us. Just in case. But we ended up being okay. More than okay. We ended up being very good.
Yeah, I thought that
I will
was
say
funny.
that it was actually not my first attempt to merge when I met Electro.
Really?
I was actually almost a little bit desperate to get some ground moving because before that, I think it was like early session 1. I tried to merge like immediately with Oxide. Because I heard about this huge group forming in that area and that they had like no stable leader or something like that. So things might have been played out a lot differently if Meraki suddenly moved to Oxide. That could have been like the prevailing empire, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know all this. So I was like, okay, how can I frame this in the way that's going to be like get this merger one, but also I still wanted to kind of like I had that like leadership idea in my head, so I'm like, okay, how can I salvage that? Like those are the two things I want to salvage. Everything else can be thrown by the wayside. I'll negotiate off whatever else I have to. And we came to the point where I was like suggested, okay, well, how about if you become like the head of diplomacy for Corvan, right? So that you can basically direct all of our like foreign policy and foreign like arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, like he could still, because I again was coming from the thought that he wanted to still be in charge of something important.
Right.
So yeah, that could work for both of us because diplomacy would be super important. That was something I wanted to do, but I was not willing to put time in because I was focused more on the progression side.
Right.
And I figured that would be a good way to cut it between. I didn't realize that it was not nearly as hard as I made it out to be. But hey, it worked out in the end, I guess.
No, it's always better to be a little over prepared. And also, you guys have already answered our first question, which was, for both, was your intention to build a nation when you joined? So it's cool that you both had very different answers to that.
Yeah, actually, my initial plan before when I signed up for the event was like a nomadic one. I guess I would get like maybe 3 people total, and we would just maybe do some violent activities, but nothing
Maybe do
good for sure.
like a pirate crew, maybe.
I don't know, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
something out of the ordinary.
If I didn't nickel for every time I accidentally like integrated a group that would have been evil otherwise, I'd have like 2 or 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it
happened twice. Yeah.
Exactly. What was it? It was because this makes 3. Because one, I didn't know that you were planning to do like a pirate group. I remember, that was one. The Flower Legion was the second one. I remember there was one that was. What was the one?
And then the groups that literally were evil, that being Holy Byzantium Empire and
we'll get to that.
Byzantines, yeah.
But there was one other than that. I just completely forgot. I don't know where my mind went. But I remembered
Farwind?
There was one group that would have been evil, but it wasn't.
Maybe
Farwind
Flower?
and Qicha.
And
Farwind and
That was
Qicha are the
like
only
Flower
others.
was Qicha. Dude, I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't even know why I brought it up anymore because I forgot.
Yeah. Speaking of our passing mention of the Great War, this is gonna be a fun one. What kind of spy network did you set up? / did you have any countermeasures against spies? Or for me, what about
tell the tale?
Yes, the tale. I already told the
final
final phrase. Yep.
Okay, so I want to tell a bit of a thing leading up to this, and it will probably come back later. But I figured since you talked about spies specifically, I might as well bring this up. But back when Vastora was formed, we brought in like the Holy Britannians, and I was already kind of suspicious of them because I was trying my hardest to try and make us as efficient and progressive as possible, getting through the progression loop. And then all of a sudden, I see these guys who are all like hyper competent, like extracting like stacks on stacks of iron like every session, and I'm like, how on earth? Why can't I figure this out? And they basically brought everything that you would ever want in like a nation you're working with, and to the point where it was almost too competent to where it was nothing but threatening. And one of the things that I wanted to do, but I kind of abandoned because I didn't have the time to focus on it because there's so much stuff going on for me, was trying to set up a spy network. I wanted to do that in like Corvan just to kind of keep an eye on what was going on. And they were like, oh yeah, well, we already have one. It was when they brought this up when we had the Steelheart Alliance, which was the defensive pact that we had from all the nations on the island of Vastora before the Empire was formed. And the Holy Britannians were like, yeah, we already have a spy network. And my thought was like, ooh, that's not good. What do you mean you already have an established spy network by session 2? That's not good. But that's the reason why Vastora never had its own spy network, because it was basically outsourced to the Britannians, who outsourced it to the RSI, which was basically that spy network. And so I'm like, okay, spies exist. It's like a wake-up call. This is not a good thing. But on to the countermeasures. As you may know by now, that I can be a bit paranoid, but I also wanted to try and set things up the best way I can, especially because with the Haven security, being as notorious as it was, I'm like, I can't have important info fall like that.
2 of their quartermasters were spies.
Yeah, and not only that, but I, as a leader of a foreign nation, was like neck deep in all of their operations because I clicked a few roles on their Discord server. Like I could see all of their stuff. It was bad. Yeah. Or at least most of it. So I'm like, we're gonna have to figure something out. And this unfortunately has like, I'm like kind of talking a lot, but like this has a lot of stuff attached to it, unfortunately, just because of what it is. But trust me, I'm getting to the 505th story, I promise. So when it came to the Vastora server, Vastora's like Discord server as a whole for the Empire was unique because most servers have like a layer of security where you have to have like a citizenship role or something like that before you can get access to secure chats or all this other stuff. I didn't have that option because I didn't want to, because I didn't want to sit there and verify 100 people in like the 12 hours I had between the creation of the Discord server and the start of that next session.
Right.
So I just decided to do a why am I forgetting the term? Compartmentalization approach. So it's an open facing server. So basically anyone can join the server, whatever. It's one big unsecure chat. And then the only thing that's actually hidden are nationalized resources like the military, which is centralized, the Imperial military, and the diplomacy center, which are where the diplomats can speak with other diplomats and all that other stuff. Anyway, and the military is divided up into different legions or different, which was my squad system that had a few, like 3 to 5 people in it from all the different nations of Vastora. And what it was there's 3 channels, sort of, that matter. One was your squad channel, so that you could speak into, and we had like, and then we had from the 501st Legion to the infamous 509th Legion. And if you're in that squad, you can see that channel and that channel only. You can't see any of the other squad's channels. And then there is the military communications, where anyone in the military or with a military role can speak in. And then there's leadership, where the any of the squad leaders and the general can speak to each other. And that's compartmentalized so that if I get any spies, like from Britannia, and they stuck into like a squad or something, they only get the information within that squad and maybe a little bit of other stuff. The whole situation, the whole thing doesn't collapse. Yeah. And that's where, that's where the 505th Legion comes in.
Yeah.
Because it's like a story within a story. So during the Great War, like right after the invasion and everything, we declare war on Britannia, all this other stuff. We're going into session 5, and I get messaged by this guy named Red Live. And I can't remember how we first met, but I basically get distracted by the fact that he played Civ Labs, because like Artharis, we both get, anytime we meet someone who played Civ Labs, we always, like, our defenses come in already down. And I'm like, oh yeah, he played Civ Labs. I can definitely trust this guy, or something like that. I don't know. And he had volunteered to join Vastora's army. Yeah. So I put him in a squad. And I put him in a squad. I put everyone. I also, at some point, the RSA got leaked, like way before the Great War happened. And I knew there was a person in the Vastoran Empire who volunteered for the army that I knew for a fact was a spy. So I basically put all the people we couldn't trust in one legion, in the 509th Legion. Yeah. And there was the 509th Legion channel title, and then I made another channel with just Red Live and the 2 other people I could trust, called the Real 509th channel. And I was like, okay guys, there's a spy, disregard, I'm gonna put a fake plan in there, this is the real plan. And then at some point I come to my senses and realize, wait a second, I know almost nothing about this dude. I know he joined the game recently, but there's no reason for me to believe that he's not a spy. And I go do a little bit digging, and I find that when the Britannians did their like Discord thing in the Rift server after session 4 ended, and everyone was going like, glory to the plan, glory to the plan, I see that Red Live had typed glory to the plan in the chat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I messed up for no reason. I don't know what happened. So I quickly go and I make another channel called the Real 509 with just the 2 people that I trust. I'm like, guys, I may have messed up a little bit. Ignore all of their plans. This is the Real 509. So that's how the story of the 509th incident came.
The real 509.
Truly beautiful. How effective it was is up to interpretation.
I mean, it wasn't horrible. It could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been worse. The 509's real purpose was to break the British monopoly on the pumpkins and beetroots that they made right before like session 4, and we did that. And Luke also did that, which is great. So hey, I mean, it would have been really bad if the Sunset Charity, which was basically a front for like the civilian population of HBE, found out that there was a secret mission to break the monopoly on their shores.
All right, so to both of you, what would you consider your greatest failure and your greatest success? And you can give it some thought.
You go first, bro.
Let's see here.
Let's see. Do I need reminders on what my greatest failures are? We go.
Electro, do you need some help on that one?
I need some help. I'll go get some help. I'll phone a friend. I'm gonna type in Rift general chat. Hey, what do you think the Electro Gamers greatest failure is? I think I won't be short of any opinions on that.
Right, you'll get an Atlas Charter length document.
This will be Atlas Charter 4.0 now, I think.
No, it's 6.0. They went up to 5.
What?
You're right. We need to refer you to our division of paper copies, please. Copy of the charter.
I'm sorry, but all questions must be submitted in writing.
Refer to your nearest Atlas Charter officer.
Guys,
Then
okay, I
direct
know
it
we're
to
not
another
allowed to
officer.
pre-team, but can we all agree that we should call something Atlas Charter 20.0 next event?
And
Yeah.
everybody's gonna forget about it by that time.
No way they'll forget about that. That's unforgettable.
I guess my greatest failure would maybe be to failing to secure oxide an oxide merge really early on in session 1.
Yeah.
It was pretty close. We agreed to do something, right? And we were going to do a secondary meeting, and then that just never happened, that secondary meeting. And then it got their leadership kind of switched out, and then that opportunity was lost.
Yeah.
It's pretty unfortunate because Oxide, there's a lot of drama with Oxide that we tried to iron out throughout the event.
Yeah.
Especially with Sideshow Mel.
Yeah.
We
We'll get to him later.
But yeah, getting them on our side and in realization of the greater goal of Vastora,
Yeah.
it was very difficult. I guess my greatest success was probably the initial merger, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's not much else that really kickstarted Corvan just as much as that one.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would have done without that.
Yeah. The situation was kind of made perfectly for both of you, right? Because both of you were really looking for someone to merge with, and one of you really wanted to make this larger nation, this empire, and the other didn't really care too much about, position of leadership or power. So it couldn't have been more perfect for both of you.
Yeah. All right. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
So, there's so many things to choose from. But okay, so if I'm being real for a second, I think because I've thought about this in extent, and I only consider failures things that I could have reasonably chosen a different route for.
Yeah.
I know the obvious one that everyone thinks is oh yeah, well obviously he shouldn't have chosen to fight Britannia, or the people who were further inside and knew other stuff was oh well he should have chosen to fight with Britannia and we could have conquered the world. And chances are, knowing everything I know now, we could have conquered the world. We could have done more than just
that would be my opinion. Yeah.
Actually,
Because Britannia
decision was-
wipes people out, and then we move in and occupy, because we have
Exactly.
the manpower to do that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But the problem is I didn't know what I know now, and I
Right.
don't think that there would have been any reason to at the time. Because one, we didn't know that one very capable group could just beat everyone. And also I had made a laundry list of assumptions about what everyone else is doing and what everyone else had
Mm-hmm.
that would have never been broken aside from actually seeing it crumble. Because I didn't even know that the majority of the world didn't even have a standing army. We were one of the, I think, 3 or 4 nations in the world who had a standing army. I had no idea. We could have gone in and we could have taken over most of the world ourselves, without anything. But I wouldn't have known that, and I probably wouldn't have done that because we weren't ready.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think with all of this beating around the bush, I think my biggest failure is not establishing a unifying culture of Vastora, because it turned to make an issue later. And I think this is something I could have done if I thought about it more and I placed more value on it, because as a Civ Labs player, you guys, LARP is kind of memeified in Rift, and before it was kind of looked down upon, but it was also just there depending on who your community was.
Right.
But like LARP is demonized in Civ Labs to the point
Yeah.
where even things that aren't LARP, anything that's not like super efficient, 100% efficient, everything for like progressing the thing is considered LARP and is demonized as such. And it's really, and sometimes it's really frustrating, but I can't help but bring some of that ideology into Rift.
Right.
Where LARP actually would have been very helpful because
Mhm.
in an empire of multiple different provinces who would basically have their own cliques and groups and such that I basically observed before, having something to bring us all together would have been really useful when we got thrown into the fire of the Great War.
Right.
And I think I missed that. I think it was either you or Naomi. It was one of the two of you. It was someone who, and I had a stage. And I was ending the stage or whatever, and someone typed in the chat "Hail Vastora," and a couple other people did as well. And someone put like the super Earth gif, and I was like, "Oh, that's so funny! I like that." I should have fed into that in that moment, because if I did that, I think that would have done more to heal Vastora than any plan or organization method or counter espionage thing anything would have done. And yeah, I wish I had done that. That was my biggest failure.
Yeah.
That I will rectify if I have the chance next time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. As for my biggest success, part of me wants to say, I feel like people will expect me to say like making the Vastoran Empire, and I do like that. I'm actually very proud of that. I'm a little bit more proud of the second Battle of Riverwood than I am the formation of Vastora. And the only reason for that is, even though we lost, the only reason for that is because it proved that I am not basically just like someone who yaps about stuff without actually knowing what I'm talking about. And there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know and don't understand, which is partly why we lost, because I just made a bunch of really stupid mistakes. But for the longest time, when we were in the coalition, and I know you guys were present for a lot of that, but like it was a very frustrating experience for a lot of people, and like me especially, because everyone would agree to do one thing and I would dissent, and everyone would agree to something else and I dissent, and like part of me felt like I was arguing just to be arguing and was not really making any reasonable point until we got to the point, because we were still running around chasing nothing, we weren't making any progress, we weren't doing anything. But then when session 6, when I decided that I was not going to work with the coalition anymore, or I wasn't going to be a part of it, I was still going to work with them, as we ended up working with Procrastination. To basically reinforce our troops before we went into the second Battle of Riverwood. But I was going to try to do our own thing, to try and put my own strategies out and see if those work. And it actually worked for what I was intending to do, because the biggest thing is we couldn't match the Britannian Blitzkrieg. They'd be in and out before we'd know, and then by the time we get there, they'd be halfway across the map. We couldn't find them, and they'd attack us, and they'd catch us by surprise every single time. We were never the attackers, from what I knew. Like, we were always getting attacked, like at Ferrum or like in other places. They always had the advantage. And when we went to the second Battle of Riverwood, we had actually tracked them there, because we had a scout system that Naomi had originally proposed. And I worked with Naomi to kind of develop a bit further. But basically, we had a plan to basically ping their location through various scouts. And then for some reason, I still don't know why he did this to this day, but he just, in session 3, he just goes insane and is like, yeah, I'm just gonna go terrorize Oxide. And this was like right at the session 3 is where Vastora formed. I always thought it was session 4, but it was session 3, I believe. So we had just formed Vastora, and Oxide did not want to be a part of it. And I was okay with that, but I did spend I invested a lot of time trying to get them to join over, because they were basically a stick in the mud for the island, because they were the one group who didn't want to join. And originally, if they had joined, the capital of the Vastoran Empire would have been in Oxide, not Meraki, because it was a central location. It was just a better spot.
Oxide was huge.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was very beautiful.
And it was largely made of wood.
For us, but I just did not. Yeah, mud. Yeah, the problem with wood is it burns easy.
Yes, and that's why. Like, I remember I had this conversation with. Sorry, We're going to talk about Flower Legion in another interview. TLDR, I didn't want to build anything out of wood. Carry on.
No, yeah, that's fair. For good reason.
Yeah.
Because Sideshow would go around, threaten them with TNT, and then burn down their tower. And that and chain with something else. Because what happened, I got called, I was trying to do stuff in Meraki. Oxide people come over. They call me to Oxide. I talk to them. It's like, hey, Sasha threatened us with TNT. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Why would they do that? I'm going to go solve it. I go over to tell them, hey, don't do that. And then I get called again. I'm like, what happened this time? Like, hey, so someone went and like decided to like mark a sign denoting like Vastoran borders out like right outside of Oxide. I'm like, what? When did that happen? I didn't tell anyone to do that. And it turned out someone who I had told to do something else, who was building the wall for Meraki that never got finished, he was doing that instead. So I'm like, that's weird. But yeah, I apologize for that because there's no reason for that to happen. And then I'm going back, trying to meet with people from Stonehold and Haven and Arcadia and all these other people. And then I get called again. I was like, hey, what's up? Yeah, so I got pictures. We have pictures. That's why I knew everything was over. We have pictures.
I certainly hope his unhinged hatred of Oxide doesn't come up again.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, why is he doing? And I'm like, okay, we have a person who's representing our entire military and is doing this. That's a big threat. That would be like, in my opinion, that would be war if Oxide had a standing military, which it didn't.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is the only reason it escalated that far, because we have one and they don't. Two, if I can't like, I don't see myself as a person trying to like, control everyone's action, micromanage everything. But if I can't like control the general of my army to the point where he won't go and actively destroy other people's properties,
yeah,
that's not good.
Right.
So I'm like, he has to die.
Yeah.
Because he also had all the iron armor. He was one of those people who didn't want to share the resources he mined out. So he was the one person in full iron armor when everyone else was in iron and bronze. And that was kind of annoying, but I let it slide. But I'm like, I'm not letting someone with a full set of iron armor run around or freely or excommunicated or whatever. He has to die because that's a threat that I'm not willing to deal with if he comes back when we're not looking. So
right.
That's when the plan came about, to kill him.
Yep.
Yeah. He was executed early next session, yeah?
No, that same session, I think.
Yeah.
No, it was next one. It was between sessions 2 and 3, I think. Or no, session 4 is when he was killed. It was between sessions 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm the one who did it, so I know it well.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I remember you called me when I was in the car because I was driving back to get to my computer.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the chat, Sideshow Male killed by Luke. I mean, it's obvious what has happened here. Okay, not a very surprising conclusion.
Yeah,
I'm
curious. Like what did you? Yes, that moment was so cinematic. Yes,
so good.
Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, because it was like a reference to an earlier conversation we had when they didn't want to join the Vastoran Empire. That was one of their things. It was like, hey, what if the military turns evil? Which I thought at the time was a really dumb point to make because it just doesn't
turned
make
out not
sense.
To be, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I guess not. I guess it wasn't. I guess not.
Yeah. You never know what the General Imperador is gonna do.
Oh, bro, why? He made me look so stupid. Like, why is he doing this? I swear it's not me, guys. It really isn't.
Hedge, I'm curious, like, what did you see from your perspective?
Oh, it's like right when I logged in, I see the chat message. I mean, I don't remember exactly my reaction, but it was one of, okay, it was clearly. I mean, you're not a malicious person, so it follows that.
Or am I?
Executed.
I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm really not. Especially during the event.
Crimson Lotus be like.
Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, like, the most evil things I did were on session 8, and I wasn't even any good at it. So
RDMing fan.
Yeah. I mean, here's, like, I was trying to flank But then I think Rainbells thought I was actually retreating, which it was. I was trying to flank, but then there were too many trees in the way, and it just didn't work out. And then Oxide went and killed that person. It's just like, okay, we didn't even get to join the fight. Okay, well, you know, he wasted a couple of fireworks on us. You know what? Maybe that helped them win. You know, I'll take credit for that. Maybe it's a little bit of an apology for I didn't do anything near Spartan's Tower. No, I wasn't.
Oh my god.
Nope, totally not. Nothing happened. Nothing
You beat him up a
happened
little
near
bit.
Spartan's Tower in session 8, roughly an hour before the event ended.
We don't talk about Spartan's Tower.
Nah, we don't. Speaking
I'm
of
curious, Hedge, what was your reaction to the other big piece of news when the Vasey incident?
Yes.
Haven has been wiped out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were just coming back from our discussions with the two Haven diplomats.
Right.
So that was a little. Yeah, we were there talking with them, and then Haven has been wiped out. Okay, well, so I immediately knew this is going to be long-lasting consequences for everybody involved, for sure. I thought for sure it was us, right? Like it had to be us that you somehow pulled like some secret operation. We sent some kind of invasionary force or something. I don't know.
Would be nice if
If
that
it
were
was
true.
us, if it was about us, at least you would have known about. You would have known about at least that. I wouldn't have pulled
Yeah.
off something that grand. I know it looks bad with how everything turned out, but I would not have pulled off something that grand without everyone being on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very chaotic, and I was pretty surprised that we didn't join in on HPE, which probably would have been the calculated move, although it's like extremely hard to do in the moment.
Right.
Do you know why we didn't join the HPE?
Yeah. It's a very complicated decision for sure.
No. But there was like a big reason. And that I was gonna I wanted to I didn't know if it was gonna come up on its own, but I wanted to mention it before the end. But
Yes.
it had to do with the Sturm thing that we were talking about before we started.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Basically-
okay, you can probably talk about that.
Yeah, when you were talking to those diplomats, I think they had offered a non-aggression pact that I had turned down before. That was kind of goes to my second biggest mistake, but I didn't really bring it up. It was I played a lot of softball. I was trying to be honorable for no real reason, and that kind of screwed me over.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to make a non-aggression pact and then immediately break it, because at that point we had known we were going to go and attack Haven at some point, because Dev and Artharis had this was before the whole videos got banned but they showed us this video and it looked like Haven was trying to occupy HBE, and it wasn't necessarily the case afterwards, but so we had planned on going to attack Haven and deal with that, or some kind of retaliation, because that's technically an act of war against Vastora since HB.
Right.
And we were trying to figure it out. And I suggested we put it on hold because at the time, Vastora had just formed. We had an army, but we hadn't trained them. I had intended to at least do some quote training, at least give them experience in working with their own legions, so that they could familiarize themselves and work together and all this other fun stuff. But we weren't ready, so I wasn't going to engage in something that big without at least having our army ready. Because again, I thought it was going to be much harder to fight Haven and Arcadia than it actually was. Because a bunch of stuff got blown out of proportion about them. I thought Arcadia had 160 people and all that.
Yeah.
Haven's propaganda was so good. Goodness me.
Yeah. Well,
It
Haven,
was
we
absolute-
knew Haven at a certain point. Haven had just bronze, but Arcadia, we knew nothing. Sturm was supposed to. Artharis told Sturm to tell me that they were going to attack that day, and he did not do that because he didn't really do anything. I found out, and that's when we got caught off guard, and everything just blew up, and it just
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't help HB. We were supposed to. I didn't know.
But did Artharis message you about it?
He ignored all the DM because he was fighting the whole time, so he didn't answer any DMs because the Haven people DM'd him, military DM'd him, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly chaotic. Yeah, if we if just we were one message away from being the conquerors, I guess.
Yeah. And he didn't know my name was Electro and not Potato because I had used my Discord name, so he couldn't message me.
Yeah. Also, so I want to run through some of these questions near the end rather briefly. Although first, Hedge, is there anything that you really specifically want to make sure that you bring up and talk about before this interview is over?
I guess I just want to maybe reaffirm we would call it LARP. I think I'd call it like the day one problem, which is this like issue where people have the mindset of, bringing in these ideas of nationalism and really sticking to your group, and that really often works to their counter benefit, right? I remember I was like enlightened of this stark contrast between me and and my people, their mindset when right after we merged with Electro and formed Corvan.
Mm-hmm.
I had to deliver this news to the people of Meraki, and at that moment it dawned on me. It sunk on my shoulders the weight of this complete misunderstanding, right? That I had to tell them, okay, guys, so I've completely given up pretty much all my power. You are now part of a completely different nation. Guys, don't worry. Someone even told me, so you just let him have all the power? Like, what are you doing? I was like, guys, you have to understand, it's for the mutual benefit. Yeah, it was a pretty enlightening situation.
Yeah.
Sure. I remember what you said to me afterwards is I think the first time we had something come up within half an hour after that happened was oh, well, it's your problem now or something along those lines.
For sure. I think I was pretty stressed out by the end of that day. I didn't want to, you can have it now.
Yeah, and I was as soon as I had I can't remember what it was, but it was some kind of, I think it was shogunate or something. It was some kind of diplomatically taxing problem that I didn't want to solve, and I was like, "Hey, Hedge, as my head diplomat, guess what whose problem this is now?"
No,
3 sessions later.
That's great.
I'd already booked a flight to Hawaii, I was bathing in the sun. Thought it was over for me.
I'm curious what the other questions are.
Yeah. All right. So what we have left, that we haven't. I mean, some of them we've maybe answered, but were there any cases where incautious actions of some citizens could have caused war/conflict? Which, I thought was a very interesting one.
I think we just went into Sturmhall, right?
Yeah.
This guy was the pinnacle of many, many unfortunate events. I think he self-described himself as a troll. I don't know. He's playing a character or something.
Yeah.
So really, it all comes down to LARP in the end, guys. So.
Yeah, it's LARP or get LARPed, and you didn't LARP hard enough, son.
There was the Byzantium incident where again right on the cusp. I know you remember that. If you want to tell that story.
Yeah, it was
I've yapped a lot.
It was over the course. Come on over to the Byzantines. They're under attack. Where? I don't know. Okay. Come on over to Oxide. They're under attack. Where? I don't know. Okay. Hey, so is Oxide under attack? What? No. And they got mad at us for showing up. What? Okay. I remember.
Turns out. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. You know what? Probably what it was is I don't know, because Sideshow is the one who told me that no, actually they're fine, and they got mad at us for showing up. So I don't know if that triggered his hatred of Oxide, or if that was part of his scheme against Oxide. I really can't be sure. Oxide might be able to answer that Friday when I interview him.
Oh, is that what you have next on Friday?
Yeah.
Is Oxide?
Yeah.
Oh dear, I gotta see this one.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting discussion to hear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What it ended up being was it was a small mining group sent from Arcadia to go and mine on our things, or on our island.
Right.
But we had a foreign exclusion doctrine up with the formation of the Steelard Alliance, which is basically you can't come on the island and extract resources.
Yeah.
But we thought it was an RDM group or a mercenary group, or they kept changing around because all we got was hey, put these names on your KOS list. And I'm like, okay, cool. Turns out one of them is Arcadian, or a lot of them are. And I have an unfortunate first meeting with the Emperor of Arcadia, Ghost, under the pretext that one of his members is on the KOS list and he wants to know why. And I have to sit there and explain it to him. Civilization of 8 people, by the way, that this all spawned from.
Yeah. Alright, so we have 3 more things we can talk about. And I do want to get into the what happened post Great War a little bit. But the others are, you know, what were feelings among Vastoran leadership about secret coup plans. I think Electra, I mean, yours is probably pretty easy, so I think I'd be more curious to hear Hedge's thoughts. Specifically from, like, Fish and stuff. Because Fish had basically decided, hey, I'm not gonna talk to Electro anymore, so get all the Vastoran people and I'll just talk to them directly, right? And then the other one is, what would you do differently to rectify the HBE situation, to calm ire with other nations who blamed Vastora directly for it? I feel like that's a very lengthy discussion, and we don't really have the time for that. I want to say we probably have about 10 minutes left, maybe, give or take. So, I don't know if you guys really want to dig into that last question, but we've already talked a good bit about HPE. So,
What was the specific event about some dumb fish, right? And the,
yeah. So, what were the feelings among Vastoran leadership about secret coup plans and feelings around the Anti-LARP Alliance, specifically on people like Fish and others from the northern nations? Electra, I know you already talked a bit about the Anti-LARP Alliance and what we went through there. Hedge, were you in the group chat that Fish sort of told me and some of the others to kind of put together and get the different people in?
I don't believe so. I think I've seen some screenshots though, which were posted later by Electro.
Yeah.
But I don't know. From what I've seen, I mean, the Anti-LARP Coalition, the ALC, is such a fascinating group.
That is one way of phrasing it. Yes.
Certainly one way of phrasing it.
They were very fascinating.
Anti-LARP is already an oxymoron. I mean,
yeah.
From what I understand, they just sort of based their entire ideas off of some anime. I'm not really familiar, but
it's the best. It's so good. You gotta watch it.
Okay.
It's so good. Code Geass.
It is actually very good.
Yeah.
If you're not bored by politics.
What's it called?
Code Geass.
Code Geass, yeah.
I actually got in trouble because I happen to have a Code Geass banner going into this
yes.
event, and people thought it was actually HB.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I still have it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Fish is Fish. Which
Fish was leader of Convergence. Yeah.
Leader of Convergence. Yes, of course. Okay.
One of the leaders.
From the beginning,
one of the main leaders.
It is clear that Fish is not a very professional person. Not exactly very capable of doing things. Is Fish? Shoot, is this the one? Leader of Convergence. I think this is the one we executed. Yeah. Yes. I forget. It slips my mind a bit, but
yes, it was.
I believe we led. I was with Annie Milmi when we did this, but Fish was clearly. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not sure what their interests were too much, but they were just spreading false information that was clearly counteracting the effort against Britannia in all regards. You know.
And they were doing stuff like that with Shogunate too, like some of those same people, like Florida and Floria, and whatever. Like we knew that they were doing propaganda against Shogunate because I think they were looking for an excuse to attack. Which, you know, I mean, not like we were that much better, but you know, still they were.
Were you guys present for the raid on Convergence?
No.
No, okay, yeah, I think Electro logged off by this time, but
yeah, I did.
Yeah, we had about maybe 10 people. Me and Aniomi were pretty set on killing this guy. I think because you said so. Yeah, he's like directed us.
I did originally, but I was like, you know what, forget, because we had gone up there to kill him together, and I'm like, you know what, forget this.
We were too in deep by that point. So we did kill him. We might have done it a second time. I don't remember. But
Second.
yeah, it was a fascinating endeavor that we did. We sort of just like ran around Convergence. We acted like their friends, and we just like we killed Fish, and then we camped his body until he died. Meanwhile, everyone else is so confused. All the people there in Convergence, I feel bad for them because they just see their leader being critted out. But yeah, I forget what the original question is about. Sorry.
Yeah, it was about the feelings among the Vastoran leadership about the secret coup plans. So, I guess I can bring up this question to other people who were in the group chat. I know for me personally, I was feeling like, because I was looking at the tensions, especially between you, specifically Electro and Farwind, and some of those things, and I was kind of thinking like, you're really stressed out with all this, and you weren't at your best at that point, which you had every reason not to be. But I was kind of feeling like maybe we need to reorganize Vastora. So I was actually pretty on board with that. That seemed like the best option. But it didn't take me very long to be like, wait a minute, why am I trusting Fish? Right? So
hey, it's all right. It was a close call. If you didn't do what you did, we could have moved up like Convergence.
I don't think anyone was really convinced by Fish's defamation campaign against Electro. Really, seemed all too contrived and sudden, in my opinion. I think everyone just disregarded it.
See, the problem was the after effects, because like, you know how I didn't really do a lot of diplomacy, especially after like Vastora was formed.
Yeah,
I didn't really feel the need to, since we had most of the stuff we needed. But what it did was it made a giant hole in like the propaganda stream, so no one knew what Vastora was. And then when Fish had like this generational defamation run on me, that is now to this day what basically everyone knows about Vastora, if anything at all, was that Vastora sucked, I suck, and then that like everything was dysfunctional and horrible.
Right.
I'm not sure how true that is, but
I don't think.
But yeah, Vastora was like the last name on everyone's map to be put on, right?
Yeah.
Anything within the island was like so obscure to the known world.
We're a small continent,
it's actually
not an
kind of
island,
funny
honestly.
to watch.
Yeah.
And to think we had, I'm not sure. I mean, everyone was hiding maps, so it's not really possible to know. But we had a very advanced map pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like debatably one of the best maps until the Traveler Guild official full Minecraft map came out. But
right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because I definitely have taken something away from that, is that it's actually very important to make yourself and make your nation known in the international community, unless your objective is to hide away and not get involved in anything, which is a very different
That was my
strategy.
objective.
Well, that's fair.
But it backfired because the way I described the whole Great War is like, it was the worst thing that could have possibly happened to Vastora specifically. Because if that situation hadn't emerged from within the Empire, we would have never gone to war. Because I wanted to go as long as possible without going to war, because I saw the trends of people out making big network of alliances and stuff. And I'm like, this is just World War I. The first person to fight is going to trigger a world war. And boom, that's what we got.
Exactly. And then next time we're going to have a nation that has like a whole bunch of sanctions put on it, until eventually someone who's really angry rises to power, and then he ends up making a few allies.
The whole world will write stern words to say, no, this is bad. We don't like this.
He's going to have to invade a few countries before they start actually deciding to do something about it, though. All right. So I guess maybe as good a place as any, since I think was the invasion of Convergence and the killing of Fish post-war.
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty much one of the last things we did.
I mean, the war never
ran
fully ended, but it was, it was pretty much over.
It ended for us. Well, we technically sued for peace at the end of Session 6 when our army was destroyed. So
Yeah.
technically the war was over for us. We just got jumped
I don't know
for
about
no
that.
reason afterwards.
The Britannia was chasing us down for a while after that.
Yeah. But I guess as good a place as any to leave off is like sort of how did the event end for you?
Were you guys in the where was that one like Central Arena thing event going on?
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
Spirit
I
Fest?
was there briefly.
Yeah, that's where I was last. It got blown up by Aniyami.
I went.
Oh my
I
God.
saw when it got blown up. Damn, what is it with our people and committing terrorism?
Oh no!
I
We're
mean,
not
there was-
terrorists.
there
I think
was-
it was the
From
third person
Vastora
who wants to
is
be evil.
very
That's what
kind.
it was. Sorry, Edge, go on. My bad.
Yeah, we had Sideshow, and then on the last day we had Aniomi, and then we had Plaguey blew up some stuff at Oxide as well. And then I didn't do anything near Spartan's Tower near the end of session 8. So, you know, what is it? What is it with Vastorans and terrorism, bro?
I don't know.
I'm just
My,
reminded of that one. And have you guys seen the slander video from Military Princess?
I have,
yeah.
but it's been a while, so I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
remember all of them. Which
That
part are
one.
you thinking of?
Talking to the brick wall, trying to convince that Vastora was not involved in the Haven massacre.
Yeah.
My gameplay ended on session 7 because originally it was supposed to end on session 6, but then through I think talking to some people and thinking for a while, I figured I would try to do like one last thing to get everyone back together.
Yeah.
I knew through different sources I can't really reveal that that we were going to suffer an attack from convergence. That was also another thing because I didn't want people in Qicha and like the remained in Flower Legion. I thought people were in Flower Legion. I didn't know about Navrok at the time. I wanted to make sure that we could like defend them because they were going to get massacred. Because I couldn't really tell them. I couldn't really tell anyone at the time like for certain of what I knew or how I knew because of like the way that it got given to me. All I knew is like, okay, we need to go up and then gear up and then then we can just go and do whatever at the end as long as we were defended. Because I was I know we got like 0-1 for like battles, but I was pretty confident in being able to fight the Convergence army.
Yeah.
We just needed to get everyone, but we ended up getting like I think 6 people showed up. I thought we were gonna get I think 30 people or so said they were gonna show up, but again, I didn't know that most of them were in Navrok. I think they'd say they didn't come.
Possibly.
It was me, Hedge, and a couple of people. So I just decided from then I was going to revive everyone that died on my behalf during the war.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really want anyone's gameplay to be ended at any point. So I figured I should at least do that. So I spent like an hour or 2 on St. Augustine, the hidden, not so hidden southeast island on Vastora.
Yeah, I never
Just
got
like
to see
farming
it.
cornucopias.
I never got to see
Yeah,
it.
It's very
It's
beautiful.
not really anything special.
Okay.
Differing opinions, huh?
It has an abandoned settlement on it. Very
Yeah.
nice looking.
You have to
place.
include it in your video so I can see it, because I never did get to see it, but I heard about it a lot.
Actually, I think I was planning. I don't know where I was going to end the video. I was considering just ending it on session 6 or whatever, but like I might extend it. It depends. There's not much. I didn't do much other than that, so it's not very entertaining. All I did was farm cornucopias to the point where everyone around me was getting
put on
restless.
some nice music. Put on some nice music, sort of explain. You know, it's like I, revived everyone and brought them back, and maybe just show the people saying thank you and stuff, and then you sort of end on this
No
nice
one
note.
said thank you, bro. No one was thanking me.
No?
I'm glad they didn't kill me on sight, bro. Like you drew me into this. I didn't know. Like, you didn't know.
No. No.
Yes, I was hunted, like being hunted everywhere. Everyone wanted to kill me. St. Augustine was basically my like St. Helens for Napoleon, my exile island. Like the one time we left, I had this like standoff with Hedge because he wanted to go one way and I was like I wanted to go keep good this other way. And then like I can't remember if you came back or you went. I can't remember what happened. But we ended up in Coastside and I gave one of my people the rest of the cornucopia stuff and I'm like, okay, have fun. And then that's when I like left. Because
Yeah.
I'd revived everyone, so it was, except for Aniomi, I forgot. Because Aniomi didn't say anything. I had said, like, who's dead? And I'd gone down the list, and Aniomi didn't say anything until, like, the beginning of next session. So.
Yeah, that's good. We revived her, and then we did the best bit in the entire event. According to HB. Yeah. But that is, I'm actually planning to do a individual podcast episode on the sacking of Melanade, so yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah, I think that covers just about everything, all the questions, all of that. Most of the questions at least. So yeah.
Yay.
So we can thank the audience for watching this far, or listening. Putting on the background. I mean, that makes a lot of sense since it is a podcast. The visuals.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, thank you for everyone. Oh, sorry.
It's very productive discussion. I actually really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Me too. Thanks for having us, Luke. And
Yeah?
thank you, everyone who was in Vastora one way or another. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys locking in and everything, despite how it all turned out. So, thank you.
Hope to see you in other interviews, and there's a pretty good chance that there's more interviews available to watch right now. So be sure to check out the rest of the channel, and hopefully there's anything there that interests you. And yeah, that's about it. Bye.
Go get your interviews at Role Playing and Games with Luke Stevens today.
Yeah. And also join Farwind today.
Hey, no!